Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt like your legs just weren't there for you the way they used to be? Maybe you've noticed that climbing a simple flight of stairs leaves you feeling a little winded, or that a walk around the neighborhood tires you out faster than it once did. If that sounds familiar, let me tell you, you are not alone. And no, it's not just getting older. There's something else going on that many people don't realize. The truth is, the foods we eat every day could be quietly robbing us of our strength, our balance, and even our independence. It's a sneaky kind of theft, one that happens slowly over time until one day we look up and realize it's just harder to move around than it used to be. But here's the good news. Once you know which foods are causing the problem, you can start making small, simple changes that can make a world of difference. Today, we're going to talk about the hidden dangers in some everyday foods that are destroying your leg strength and what you can do about it. Stick with me because these few minutes we spend together could change how you move, how you feel, and how you live in the years ahead. Now let's jump right into it. First, let's talk about something that's so common, so comforting, that it's practically woven into our daily routines: sugar. It's in our coffee, it's in our desserts, it's even hiding in places we don't expect, like sauces, breads, and so-called healthy snacks. And while a little treat now and then seems harmless, the reality is that processed sugar is quietly chipping away at your strength. You might think, oh, I just have a little now and then, it can't be that bad. But sugar has this way of sneaking into our lives and staying there. It causes sudden spikes in our blood sugar, giving us a quick jolt of energy that feels good for a moment, only to be followed by a sharp crash that leaves us feeling drained, weak, and tired. It's like lighting a match for a quick burst of light instead of building a steady, lasting fire. And when your body goes through this spike and crash roller coaster day after day, it wears you down in ways you don't even realize. Your muscles, especially the ones in your legs, struggle to get the steady, reliable energy they need. Suddenly, standing up from a chair feels harder. Walking across the grocery store parking lot seems like a marathon. You're not just tired, you're running on fumes. But that's not all sugar does. It's also a major driver of inflammation throughout the body. You know that stiff, achy feeling in your knees or your hips after dinner? That heavy, dragging sensation in your legs after eating something sweet? That's not just coincidence. That's inflammation, and it's sugar feeding the fire. When your joints are inflamed, they become stiff, swollen, and painful. Over time, the inflammation damages the muscles and tissues you need to move freely and confidently. And here's something even more concerning. Sugar also speeds up the loss of bone density. It interferes with your body's ability to absorb calcium, which is critical for keeping your bones strong. Without enough calcium, bones become brittle, fragile, and much more likely to break if you fall. A simple stumble that once would have been nothing can turn into a life-changing injury. And it all traces back, in part, to what's on our plates. Now you might be wondering, what can you do about it? Do you have to give up every sweet treat forever? Not at all. It's about making smarter choices. Instead of reaching for processed candies or baked goods, you can satisfy your sweet tooth with natural options like fresh berries, an apple, or even a small piece of dark chocolate. When you use honey, maple syrup, or dates as sweeteners in your cooking, you're giving your body something it can handle much better. And every little swap you make adds up over time. Next, let's talk about another big culprit that almost all of us have indulged in at some point: deep-fried foods and fast food. Oh, I know, they're delicious. There's nothing quite like the crispy bite of fried chicken or the warm comfort of French fries. And sometimes it feels like the most convenient option after a busy day. But here's the reality that's often hidden behind that crispy golden goodness. Deep-fried and fast foods are packed with unhealthy fats, particularly something called trans fats. These fats are like poison for your joints. They create inflammation that eats away at the cushioning in your knees, your hips, and your ankles, the very parts of your body that carry you through your day. That's why, after a meal heavy in fried foods, you might notice your legs feeling heavier, stiffer, and less willing to move. And it's not just your joints that suffer. Fried foods also wreak havoc on your circulation. They clog up your arteries and make it harder for oxygen and nutrients to reach your muscles. When your muscles don't get the fuel they need, they get tired faster. You might find yourself taking more breaks when you walk, struggling to carry groceries, or even feeling unsteady on your feet. What's even more alarming is that these foods contribute heavily to weight gain. Now, a few extra pounds might not seem like a big deal, but for your knees and hips, every additional pound adds up to about 4 pounds of pressure on your joints. Imagine carrying an extra 20, 30, or even 50 pounds of pressure with every step you take. Over time, it wears down the joints, damages the cartilage, and makes walking, standing, and even simple household tasks more painful and difficult. And let's not forget, extra weight also affects your balance, making falls more likely, a serious concern at any stage of life, but especially as we get older. But here's the wonderful thing. You have the power to turn this around. By making a few small changes, you can protect your legs, your joints, and your mobility. Instead of frying foods, try baking, grilling, or steaming them. You can still enjoy delicious meals without soaking them in unhealthy oils. If you love the crispiness of fried foods, an air fryer can be a great investment. It gives you that same satisfying crunch without all the damaging fats. Instead of reaching for fast food, you can prepare simple meals at home, meals that are nourishing, satisfying, and kind to your body. Even when you do have to eat out, there are healthier choices available. Choosing grilled chicken over fried, skipping the heavy dressings, opting for a side of fresh fruit instead of fries, these little choices don't feel like sacrifices. They feel like stepping stones to a future where your legs stay strong, your steps stay steady, and your life stays full of movement and joy. The food you eat today builds the body you'll live in tomorrow. Every decision matters, and every positive change is a step in the right direction. Now that we've looked closely at the dangers of sugar and deep-fried foods, let's keep moving forward, because there's still more to uncover about the hidden enemies that may be quietly draining your strength without you even realizing it. When we think about protecting our legs and our ability to move freely, we usually think about exercise or maybe stretching a little more. But what most people don't realize is that the foods we put on our plates every single day have just as much power over how strong and steady we feel. We've talked about the dangers of sugar and fried foods, but there's another category of everyday foods quietly chipping away at your strength, and that's processed meats. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What could be wrong with a simple ham sandwich for lunch, a few slices of bacon in the morning, or the occasional hot dog at a family barbecue? They're quick, they're easy, and they've been part of many of our lives for years. But the trouble is, the convenience and taste come with a heavy cost to your body, especially to your muscles and your legs. Processed meats like bacon, sausage, ham, pepperoni, and deli slices are packed with preservatives, chemical additives, and most notably, huge amounts of sodium. And it's that high sodium content that starts the trouble. When you eat foods overloaded with salt, your body holds onto water. You might notice it in swollen ankles, tight shoes, or that heavy feeling in your legs that just won't go away. That swelling isn't just uncomfortable, it's putting extra strain on your muscles, making every step feel more tiring than it should be. Beyond the swelling, the chemicals used to preserve these meats trigger a slow but steady inflammation inside your body. You may not feel it right away, but over weeks, months, and years, that inflammation attacks your muscles and joints from the inside out. It eats away at the strength and flexibility you need to move confidently. Before you know it, you're avoiding stairs, hesitating to go for that walk, or holding onto the wall when you get up in the morning. And here's something even more concerning. Processed meats, despite being marketed as a good source of protein, often rob your body of the very nutrients you need to maintain strong muscles. Instead of giving you clean fuel, they overload you with salt and preservatives that interfere with how your body absorbs important minerals like magnesium and potassium, minerals your muscles absolutely rely on to stay healthy and flexible. Without them, your muscles become weaker, your movements slower, and your risk of injury goes way up. But it doesn't have to be this way. You don't have to say goodbye to delicious meals. You just have to be a little smarter about what you choose. Fresh meats like grilled chicken, baked fish, or roasted turkey give you the high-quality protein your muscles crave without the harmful additives. And plant-based proteins, things like lentils, black beans, quinoa, and nuts, are just as powerful, packed with fiber, antioxidants, and all the nutrients that support strong, healthy legs. If you love sandwiches, you can still enjoy them. Just swap out the deli meats for fresh slices of cooked chicken, a spread of hummus, or even a thick slice of avocado paired with crisp lettuce and tomatoes on whole grain bread. It's these little changes that start to rebuild your body from the inside out, giving you back the energy and the confidence to move the way you want to move. And speaking of salt, that brings us to the next sneaky saboteur of leg strength: high-sodium foods. Now, salt is something most of us don't even think twice about. It's sprinkled over eggs, stirred into soups, hidden in canned goods, frozen meals, even those so-called healthy snacks that line grocery store shelves. But what's hiding inside that tiny shaker could be making a big difference in how your legs feel every single day. When you consume too much salt, your body desperately tries to balance things out. It holds on to water, leading to swelling not just in your hands and feet, but deep inside your muscles and tissues. That swelling puts constant pressure on your joints and muscles, making your legs feel heavier, stiffer, and more prone to aches and pains. Walking across the living room starts to feel like a chore. Standing to cook dinner becomes an endurance event. Even light gardening or shopping can leave you feeling drained. But the damage goes deeper than just swelling. High sodium intake damages the health of your blood vessels, tightening and narrowing them over time. That means less blood flow to your muscles, less oxygen, fewer nutrients, and slower recovery when your muscles are tired or strained. Your legs need that steady, rich blood flow to stay energized and strong. Without it, your stamina dwindles, your strength slips away, and simple movements become exhausting. And here's the hidden heartbreak. Too much salt doesn't just affect your muscles, it weakens your bones too. High sodium levels force your body to pull calcium from your bones just to keep things balanced. Over time, this silent calcium loss makes your bones brittle, fragile, and much more prone to fractures. A fall that might have once been a simple bruise could turn into a broken hip or a long hospital stay, all because of years of invisible damage from salt. But here's the beautiful thing. Changing your relationship with salt isn't about deprivation. It's about empowerment. It's about giving your body what it truly needs to feel light, strong, and alive again. Start by focusing on fresh foods as much as possible. Vegetables, fruits, lean meats, and whole grains naturally come with very little sodium. When you cook at home, you have full control. Instead of reaching for the salt shaker, reach for flavor. Herbs like rosemary, thyme, and basil, spices like turmeric, cumin, and paprika, fresh garlic and onions, even a squeeze of lemon or a splash of vinegar. They wake up your food in ways salt never could, and they nurture your body at the same time. And when you do buy packaged foods, just take a second to peek at the labels. Choose low sodium or no salt added options whenever you can. Be mindful of sneaky sodium in canned soups, frozen dinners, sauces, dressings, and snack foods. The less hidden salt you bring into your home, the stronger your legs and your whole body will be. When you make these changes, you might be amazed at how quickly your legs start to feel lighter, your steps feel easier, and your energy returns. You'll wake up looking forward to that walk with a friend, that afternoon gardening session, or that stroll through the farmer's market. Refined carbohydrates are stripped of almost all their fiber, vitamins, and minerals during processing. What's left is a food that digests quickly, floods your bloodstream with sugar, and then leaves you crashing hard afterward. That roller coaster of energy, up and then way, way down, puts a tremendous strain on your muscles, especially your legs. You might notice it after a big pasta dinner or a few slices of white bread. Your legs feel heavier, your movements slower, and your stamina lower than it should be. You're not imagining it. Without the steady fuel from whole foods, your muscles are starved for the energy they need to keep you moving confidently. And just like with sugary foods, refined carbs drive inflammation throughout the body. That means your joints get stiffer, your muscles ache more, and your legs feel less willing to cooperate when you need them most. It's like trying to walk through wet cement. Everything feels harder, slower, and heavier. Over time, if refined carbs dominate your diet, they don't just make you feel weaker, they actually accelerate muscle loss. Our muscles depend on a steady supply of healthy nutrients to stay strong. But white breads, cookies, and other refined carbs offer almost nothing of real nutritional value. Instead, they fill you up temporarily, leave you depleted, and make it harder for your body to build and maintain muscle. This silent loss of muscle mass, called sarcopenia, happens to all of us as we age, but poor diet choices make it happen faster and more severely. And when your legs lose muscle, your risk of falls, fractures, and a loss of independence goes up dramatically. Simple things like standing from a chair, carrying groceries, or walking around the block become exhausting. Over time, the loss of strength can make the world feel smaller and smaller. But here's the empowering truth. You can break this cycle. You can choose foods that nourish, protect, and build your muscles instead of draining them. Instead of reaching for white bread, try sprouted grain or whole grain breads. They still give you that satisfying, hearty texture, but with all the fiber and nutrients your body needs to stay energized. Swap refined pasta for whole wheat, quinoa, or brown rice pasta. They release energy slowly, keeping you steady and strong all day long. And when it comes to snacks, reach for fiber-rich options like nuts, fresh fruits, or roasted chickpeas instead of sugary cookies or crackers. When you make these choices consistently, meal after meal, your body starts to transform. Your energy stabilizes. Your muscles rebuild. Your legs regain the strength to carry you where you want to go, when you want to go. It's not about giving up the foods you love. It's about upgrading them to foods that love you back. Now, if you're thinking, this sounds like a lot of change, I get it. Changing habits that have been with us for years, or even decades, can feel overwhelming at first. But you don't have to overhaul everything overnight. Start small. Maybe today you choose brown rice instead of white. Maybe tomorrow you add a handful of berries to your breakfast instead of reaching for a muffin. Each small choice builds on the next. And before you know it, you're not just eating differently, you're feeling differently. You're standing taller, walking farther, and living more freely. Your legs, those faithful companions that have carried you through a lifetime of memories, will thank you by staying strong and steady for years to come. Because here's the real truth. Aging is inevitable, but losing your strength doesn't have to be. The foods you eat can either be the secret weapon that helps you live vibrantly into your 70s, 80s, and beyond, or they can be the slow poison that robs you of your energy, your mobility, and your independence. The good news is, the choice is entirely in your hands. You have the power to protect your legs, your health, and your future. One bite, one meal, one day at a time. And no matter where you're starting from, it's never too late to make a difference. Imagine waking up each morning without that old ache in your knees, without that heavy, dragging feeling in your calves. Imagine walking around your home, your neighborhood, even traveling, without fear of falling or tiring out. Imagine feeling strong, steady, and free again. That's not just wishful thinking. That's a future you can start building today. The steps are simple. Reduce the sugar. Choose foods that nourish instead of inflame. Limit the fried foods and processed meats that weigh you down. Cut back on the hidden salt that swells and stiffens your legs. Replace refined carbohydrates with whole, hearty options that feed your muscles. And perhaps most importantly, believe that you deserve to feel strong again. Because you absolutely do. Your best years aren't behind you. They're still ahead of you, waiting to be lived with energy, joy, and independence. It all starts with the simple, daily choices you make for your body. If this message resonates with you, if you're ready to reclaim your strength and take control of your health, I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know one change you're excited to make starting today. Whether it's swapping your morning toast, saying goodbye to fast food, or loading your plate with colorful fruits and veggies, every positive step matters. And if you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like it and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue creating content that empowers and uplifts you. Plus, it ensures you never miss the practical tips and motivational guidance we share each week to help you live your best life at every age. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, your legs have carried you through so many beautiful moments in life, and with the right care, they'll carry you through many more. Here's to a future filled with strength, vitality, and freedom. You are capable of amazing things, and it all starts with the next meal, the next step, the next choice you make. Stay strong, stay vibrant, and keep moving forward. You've got this.